Hey guys, Nicole here, and I am here to do a video on my process on working with Kit 1. So if you guys watched the last video about Kit 1, I was separating the larger kit into smaller piles, into smaller kits. And basically I'll do a little I'll go back a little bit on how this was started. So when I was scrapbooking, I meet up with my best friend to scrapbook. We meet halfway between where we each live, and we'll scrapbook for 3 days. And I had taken some of these kits with me because I had wanted to work with them and get them used. And but before I had started working with one of the larger ones, I had worked with like a smaller basic gray and had really good luck with it. So it really occurred to me that smaller kits really work better for me. And so I was just trying to figure out how to manage those larger kits that I had made. And so my friend Angie came up with a game to because we're always looking for challenges too. Like we've done all kinds of different things, but we're always looking for fun ways to kind of create piles of supplies to work with in a creative way, whether it's putting a kit together or copying a kit, going to the Counterfeit Kit Club or blog or whatever. So she came up with the idea of, why don't you separate the kit down into piles, but you can't move from one pile to the other until you've cut into all the papers. So it really encourages you to really use your stash but then you get to add some new product in through the process. And so it keeps it interesting, because one of the things with larger kits is that you can get bored with them very easily. So that is the way I'm working with this. And so we started off, we just created piles. We had smaller kits at the time, so our first pile had 10 pieces of paper, our second pile had 8, then 6, and 4, then 2, and then we added in embellishments to each pile. So then we start with a larger pile, and then once we've cut into all those papers, then we add in the second pile to the remainder of that stash that we have from that first pile. So we'll have scraps left, and then we'll have embellishments left, and then it just keeps what you're working with fresh and new, and but still encourages you to use your older stuff from the very first piles, if that makes sense. So these are the layouts from the first pile. So I started with 16. So I have a pile 16, then 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. And so I have now cut into all of my first pile of 16 papers, and doesn't mean you have to use all of them. It just means you no longer have any full sheets left. And so I want to show you the layouts that I made from the first pile. I didn't have a ton of embellishments with it. I'll show you the leftovers here shortly. I didn't have a ton of embellishments. I didn't have a lot of embellishments in this kit, but because I had so many piles, I did have a lot of embellishments in this kit, but because I had so many piles, once I dispersed them, I think there was 8 piles. Once I dispersed them into the 8 piles, didn't have a ton to work with. So it's another challenge then to work with a smaller group of supplies. So you'll see that I use a lot of the cut apart. I had one of the cut apart sheets in this pile. I basically went to I have a class at Debbie Hodges' site, the Masterful Scrapbooking, that there's a lookbook on working with pattern paper. So I went to that because that was mostly, I had some embellishments, but mostly what I had to work with was pattern paper. And then I had a few sheets of stickers. But so that gave me some fun ideas of how to make the page interesting, really using up my pattern paper as the focus. So anyway, here's the layouts that I made. So this is one here. I basically decided, I pulled out a lot of pictures of my youth, of when I was little, just because a lot of these were October afternoon. A lot of the stickers are very childhood youth themed. And so you'll see a lot of these photos are me. These are older pictures from the 70s and 80s. And so there's this one here. So here I just did a bunch of layering underneath the photo, and then did one strip down here, and then a card here. This is from October afternoon. And then I have washi sitting out, so I used some washi and some of the stickers. I have, I think, 1 sheet of chipboard and 3 sticker sheets out, so I just used up some of those. There's a sticker there. And this didn't have really a story to it. It was just kind of a fun picture of me when I was 2, and For some reason I was on the table. But the thing I love about the picture, and I didn't journal from this perspective, although I could probably add in another card over here and journal about this, was I love this picture because I totally remember our old kitchen table and our old chairs and our old kitchen, you know, I love those kind of photos where you look and say, oh my gosh, I remember those green kitchen chairs, you know, so that's always a fun part. But I didn't really take that with that avenue or that approach. I just journaled about how I love this picture of me just having a good old time, and I wish I knew what I was laughing about or who was around me, but I don't. And it was just a fun picture. So there's that. And a lot of the images in this paper too are very much from that, you know, when I was a child. So you have the typewriters, and there was like the old radio here, which is, I think we have one identical to that growing up, almost exactly. The records, you know, a lot of these images are definitely are from, you know, things I recognize with growing up with. So that made that fun. Okay, then there's this one. It's a dark photo, but it's a picture of me roller skating, and it was so perfect that this circle paper, this wasn't an initial part of the 16. I had set it aside to use as embellishments, but it was perfect that there's this roller skate was on this sheet. So I got a circle punch out and circle punched a bunch of those and just made the roller skate, you know, one on the top there. And because I was roller skating in the photo, and I journaled just about how I spent hours upon hours upon hours roller skating. And we had a lot of sidewalk around our house. We had a good size lot, and so we had a pretty big porch, and we had a lot of sidewalk space and a big slab of cement. And so we had a perfect house to roller skate around because we had so much space to go, and so that was fun. So here I just tore some paper and then just embellished some clouds up there because I'm outside and it's cold. So I think it was like in October or something, and so I should have done like rain or shine or, you know, something about the weather, but I'm in a coat there. This is back in the day when we used to actually play outside. Didn't matter if it was cold. Like, we just went outside and we played. We got our coats and hats and gloves on. We just don't do that as much anymore, it seems like. I got these from my stash here, and then that was from the Studio Calico sheet I had in the kit. And the rest of it, I think, is mostly all October Afternoon stickers and things. That was fun. And then this one. So this one, these next two actually are mostly, well, as far as paper-wise, mostly using the papers from the paper pad, and that I added in from Colorbach that I gotten from Walmart. But then embellishment-wise, and I added in a mix of things. So this was just one where this is the background paper, and then I put strips down. This is scraplifting again from the Debbie Hodge class. And then I just scattered in, I have these really old cream-colored stickers. I've had these for ages, but they're just a nice classic embellishment, or sticker sheet. So I scattered a couple of those throughout. I had added to this part of the kit these 3 wood veneer butterflies, so I used those here. And then again, punched out more of the circles, used some washi, just layered a bunch of stickers, and some of the journaling cards, which are from October Afternoon Daily Flash, and grabbed the enamel dots from my stash, just a bunch of layering underneath. So a good variety of embellishments from different, and this is just a picture of me and my cousins. That's me when I was 2, and just journaled about how I saw those cousins a lot. Even though most of them lived far away, it was very important that we all got together at my grandparents' where we lived, and we got to see them on a really regular basis, and how I love that we did that. So that was fun. And just a lot of the patterns, like, just feel kind of, you know, especially with these here, you know, have that like early 80s feel and 70s feel. And so I just think that these colors and patterns just work perfect for the time frame in which I was a child. So then this one here is fun. Just a picture of me as a baby next to my brother. Just a fun picture of us cuddling. And the paper is from the paper pad, Colorbach paper pad, but again, most of the cards are from October Afternoon, as well as the stickers. And I had this other one random flower wood veneer that I had put in this pile, and so I just used that here. Did a bunch of layers with stickers and those cream colored. And then I did use this stamp that I did put into this kit as my tool. And just because, you know, one of my memories of being from my childhood was my mom did a lot of canning, and we had a underground cellar that we kept all that in, and so this is just a really great childhood image for me. And I journaled there, and then used some of these fun. See, those aren't to property, I don't think. Those are. I feel like I'm missing oh, there's a Pebbles. So I have this Pebble sticker sheet as well. So I use those there. And again, that's from Pebbles and Pebbles. So I use a lot of Pebbles on here. And I did pull that fabric tape, like that Fab Rips. So this is fabric here, and then I did a little bit up there. So this one has a lot of fun texture to it. Okay. And then this one I just finished up, and I love it. So I had the two papers I had left I hadn't cut into yet were this film strip paper and, oh, if you can see here, and this crazy, you know, multicolored chevron paper. And so I decided that with the film strip that this would be a good time to, even though it's probably technically camera film strip, I guess, I still think it works for like projector film or movie film. So I've been wanting to do this layout for forever. So I'm like, this is when I'm going to do it. I went and found images from all my favorite childhood movies, the ones that I grew up watching like over and over and over. We would record them when they were on TV on a Saturday night or whatever, and we'd watch them all the time. I loved movies as a kid. And so I went through and just Googled like 1980s movies, found a bunch that I'd forgotten about, and then Googled the one specifically that I remember watching and loving, and just printed all those off, put it on my layout, and it's a 12 by 12 and a 6 by 12 because I didn't have enough room. And then I used these here to journal about that and just about how different movie watching is from now. And you know, from then until now, it's a whole different thing. So now you can just push a button and live stream something or stream something off of an app, and so it's just a whole different way of watching movies for sure. But I thought this multicolored pattern paper worked great just because there were so many different colors in these different photos. So that is my last layout there. So what I have left from this pile here is just a few. I have these stickers here, and then I have some of the cut apart cards. I just put this in here because it was smaller. So mostly cards. And then I had tried to die cut some cameras for one layout, and I didn't like how they turned out, so I just threw those in here. So technically, like, those weren't initially part of the kit, but I added those in. So not a whole lot there. And then I've gotten some use out of this sticker sheet here. A lot of these I'm not a huge fan of some of the phrases, so they're probably going to end up being tucked in and just for a little bit of hint of color is my guess on how that's going to be used. And then I have a few of these Studio Calico stickers left. I got some of those used. Haven't used these yet. Just because a lot of this particular set of papers wasn't super, it was more cream based. So these white, I might have to either color them or save them for a layout that's more white based. Got some more of these used up, but just about done with that. Got some more of these used up, so trucking away on those. And then here's just all the scraps that I have left. So no more full sheets, which means I get to move on. So I'm going to pull over my next pile and show you just how that process works. So I'll be right back here. I have them piled in the right order, I guess. If not, it's not the end of the world. This should have 14 sheets of paper, but so here's my next pile that I'm going to now add into this. So I'll continue to work with these. I'll continue to work with these. These are just going to now be added into my embellishment section, and then now I have 14 new full sheets of paper to work with. So here's just, I'm going to go ahead and just put these in here with these. This way I continue to use the first initial product. Here I have some, but now I get to add in some new stuff that I get to work with and work into my layouts. And that makes it fun. So I got 3 tags there, more cards, a lot more bits and pieces now to work with. I was kind of out of those types of pieces. These fun things there. Okay, so there's those. And then some new sticker sheets. So I have some new chipboard, which would be lovely to work with because I was getting low on dimensional types of items. Another chipboard sheet, which is almost done. And another one of these with different words. Actually, the same words. I must have had 2 of each of these. So keep working at that. Some sticker sheets here. So then these will just kind of give me a whole new starting point for some of my layouts. Because one thing I'm finding with these are that I'm seeing an image and saying, oh my gosh, it reminds me of this. And you know, like a bubblegum machine. I know I had one growing up, and so that would be a fun story. I don't think I have a picture of it, but I vividly remember it being one of my prized possessions. And, you know, so that's a great thing about that is one great thing about themed product is that it can really trigger a memory for you, which is kind of fun. So, you know, be open to that. Sometimes people are like, ooh, I don't want themed stuff, or I don't, you know, some of the stuff seems silly, but you might, or even the vintage type of stuff, but it might just trigger a fun memory for you and trigger a layout that you maybe wouldn't have made otherwise. So now I have a nice big pile. I was pretty low, but I have a nice good pile of embellishments to pick from. So get this out of the way. And then the papers, I think I should have 14 in here. So it's going to be a little bit of a different color scheme. Not too different, but I'll have some different colors and patterns to work with, which will be fun. And so I'll get to work with now these papers while at the same time still trying to work in these scraps, which because it was all part of the same initial kit, you know, a lot of it's going to mesh perfectly fine together. And so I'll hopefully continue to use these as I'm scrapbooking with these new papers. So here's my next collection of items I'm working with. And I will be back when I'm done with this pile, show you those layouts, and bring in my third pile. So I hope that helps if anyone's confused about this process. Again, this isn't my normal kit process. This is just a fun new way of working with a larger kit because the kits I put together with the purpose of using up some older stash ended up to be pretty large. And so this is a really fun way to work with those and not get bored with them. So I hope that if anyone's confused on what I'm doing or why I'm doing it the way I am, that is why. And I'll be back when I am done working with this collection of product, and I'll be back and show you my layouts from this. So until then, happy scrapping. Bye-bye.